afternoon, good morning, good day. Yes, the beautiful Lady TLC in live conversation with my special guest, Marshella Muzic. We all know you and I.
As the rain starts falling, I feel your body calling me. It's the way that it should be. You make me feel so safe and so carefree. Baby, when you kiss me softly, I hear the sweetest melody. Your love had captured me. Don't you know I love you completely? Baby, you and I, the thought of you, it gives me butterflies. Laying in your arms feels like I can touch the sky. You and I, you and I. Love is so amazing when you find that one for life. Someone to hold you tight, someone to say your prayers with you at night. Baby, time has made us stronger. I wish we had much longer. The days keep passing by, but I can do all things with you here by my side. Baby, you and I, the thought of you, it gives me butterflies. Laying in your arms feels like I can touch the sky. You and I.
So as I said, my special guest this afternoon is the beautiful Marshella Muzic. Welcome, my darling.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh, sweetheart, it's absolutely a pleasure and an honor to have you live with me here in the studio today. How are you?
I'm great. I cannot complain. Things could always be worse.
Oh, tell me. Just gotta give thanks. Just gotta give thanks.
That's it.
Marshella Muzic. Where does the name Marshella Muzic come from?
So Marshella is my first name, Marshella Griffin. And then I was just trying to figure out, do I want to go by my first and last name, or, do I want to have a stage name? And so I kind of went back between just going by Marshella by itself. But then I was like, no, I kind of want something a little bit different, because I also act as well. So I kind of wanted to make sure I was differentiated between the acting Marshella and the music Marshella. Okay. So that's how the adding the music, and then I said, let me spell it a little different, let me put a Z there instead of an S, just to do something different. And so it's just me trying to come up with something,
Original. Make it original.
Yeah, there you go.
Definitely. So, Marshella, am I saying it correctly?
It's Marshella.
Marshella.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you are in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're currently living in California.
Yes.
But you are from Indiana originally.
Yeah, I'm from Bloomington, Indiana. Those who don't know where Bloomington is where Indiana University is, and a lot of cool artists out of there too, like John Cougar Mellencamp.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's a small college town, basically, and that's where my parents are still there. My older brother and his wife, and my nephew, and all my other family members are all back home.
Oh, excellent.
I've been in LA for 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is home now.
You're definitely a Californian.
Yes.
So what first got you into music?
Oh, well, singing in the church. My father is a pastor. So I was raised in the church and singing in the children's choir and all that. And my family, they all sing. They don't sing professionally, but my parents always, taught us harmonies around the house. My mom especially would have me and my brother sing harmonies and teach us different songs. And my brother and I played music, like instruments. I played the flute for years. He played the jazz saxophone. My sister, she played the flute and she's a dancer. So my parents always had us in the arts, taking lessons, private lessons and that. So I just kind of started really young, just in love with music. My first concert my parents took, because my parents were young. They had my brother at 18. They had me at 23 and they had my sister at 28. And they've been married 51 years. But they were young, and so it was the 70s, and they liked to go. So they would go to concerts, but they would take us with them. So like my first concert was like Shalimar, the Daz Band, Lakeside, like all the old school, artists. And so I just grew up seeing that type of music live. And so it was just automatically, I mean, from like 5 years old, I think my first album I bought was Stephanie Mills. I asked for it for Christmas and I was like 5 and I was like, can I Stephanie Mills?
Definitely. Stephanie Mills is such a formidable artist,
Yes.
Still going as well, still going.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Who would you say are your musical influences?
Oh gosh, I have so many. I really love singer-songwriters. I love lyrics, and I love harmonies and just pretty melodies. So I would say they're from all different genres. I love Karen Carpenter, the Carpenters. I love Stephanie Mills, Stevie Wonder, of course. I love James Taylor. I love I love Tamia. I love her. Mariah Carey. I don't think she gets enough credit for her writing. I feel like people focus on other things about her, but her writing and the fact that she writes, all those beautiful songs that she has, it's like amazing. Who else? Gosh. I mean,
that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Long
list.
I have a list on list on list. And they all influence me. I mean, the Culture Club. Love the Culture Club. I love Loose Ends. A lot of older artists. But I take something, George Michael. I mean, I take something from like all of them.
Okay. So, how would you describe your music? How would you describe your music?
My music, I would say, because it's so weird because I'm really just getting to the point where I'm figuring out my voice and my lane and what I think, my thing is. And so I would say that my voice is, it's like a cross between, I'm trying to think. It's almost like Denise Williams meets hip hop.
That's a good description.
I mean, kind of, like the light, kind of airy vocals, but with kind of hard hitting hip hop beats. I feel like the tracks have a really strong hip hop background. So it's like, something that Mary J would do, but I don't have a voice like Mary J, a strong voice. So
you have a strong voice.
But you know what I mean. The big
ballads, the big ballads.
The big Shaka Khan's, the belting strong voices. Like, that's not me, but I'm cool with that. That's kind of chill back in the cut.
So, I mean, you released an album.
Yes.
This year.
Mm-hmm.
Called
Movez.
And it's got a Z on the end as well. Okay,
Yes.
love that Z, that last letter of the alphabet.
I did. I did the name, and then I said when I was like writing out the songs, I was like, maybe I'll switch it up, And I said, I'll just take the Z. I'll continue the Z throughout.
Did you write most of the songs in your album?
I wrote all of them. I got the tracks from producers. I'd worked with like 3 different. So I worked with Dope Boys Music, which are 2 brothers, and Tommaso and Alessandro Pinto. So I bought music from them, and then I worked with Dream Life Beats, and he's by himself, and I bought some tracks from him, and then one of my good friends, Mike Burton, who is like a super successful saxophonist. Like he's on tour with Patti LaBelle right now. He plays with everyone, but he also produces. We went to college together, and I asked him, can you produce a song for me, for my album? So he did the track, and then I wrote over it. And then on Lord Forgive Me, I have my good friend John Ollie, who does the rap part. So he wrote his section. But yeah, I did all of the vocal arrangements, wrote all of the lyrics and melodies, did all the background vocals. So it's just me in the studio with my audio engineer by myself, just having a good time.
It sounds like you've got a very artistic, creative process.
Yes.
The album shows different sides to you as an artist, as a singer. And one of the tracks that I gravitated to was Meant to Be.
Yes, I love that.
Now, for me, that is a different style compared to You and I.
Yes.
What was one of the what was the influence behind the writing of that song?
I heard it and it sounded, I heard the track and it was just kind of like the ding. I like the blink, 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 at the beginning. It just made me feel kind of like, I don't know. I was just kind of like doing that. And then, I listened to it over and over again. I listen to tracks over and over again. And when I listen for a specific kind of track or whatever. It's just if I feel it. So I could go, and then just like You and I, that whole thing, like I was just like, the You and I came to me. I was just like, You and I was like, okay, I like that. Let me write that down. And then I didn't touch it. I didn't do anything else with the song. I didn't know where else I wanted to go. But the All of My Life, it just the music it's weird. It's like the music speaks to me and tells me what to say, if that makes sense.
It's an inspiration to you. And I'm actually going to play Meant to Be. Lady TLC in live conversation with Marshella Muzic.
I never thought I'd see the day that we would not be as one. We had lots of love and happy times. Now it seems our time is done. We tried our best to keep things right, but we kept growing apart. Now you found another love and it's just breaking my heart. When I saw you kissing her, my mind went blank. It was a blur. You said you loved her and you turned and walked away. I wanted to run up to you, but I had nothing to say. In all of my life, I'll love you endlessly. In all of my life, you'll be the one for me. The rest of my life, I wanna be a part. Let's make it right. We were meant to be. Meant to be. Oh, I know you.
Meant to Be. What a tune. What a tune. I mean,
you.
it's definitely one of in my top 5. It's
Oh,
definitely one of
yes.
my top 5s because
Thank
it's
you.
just got that, you can relate to it. It's relatable
Yes.
in one way or another to
Yes,
somebody out there. It's relatable.
for
So
sure.
you put this album out. Your album was released in the
September 10th.
September 10th. But how long did the project take you?
It took me, so I did it all during the whole shutdown quarantine thing. It probably,
Everyone's done that. I think
oh
everyone's
man,
done music in the
I
lockdown.
think so. It's like everyone is like made you more creative. Like you have to sit at home and like be with yourself, and it's like, okay, let me write. And I had gotten laid off from my job that I was at for like over 10 years. So I
Wow.
got laid off right before the pandemic hit, and I was just kind of at home and like and so with the encouragement of my husband and one of my good friends, they were like, why haven't you done a solo project, why haven't you done a project yet? And I'm like, I'm scared. But they were like, just do it. And so that's kind of how it came about. I just kind of was like, well, let me just try and see if I can do it. So I started writing. First it was just supposed to be a 6 song EP, and then I kept writing and I kept writing, and I wrote like 25 songs and recorded them. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll put 14 on there. So in all, it took me, I would say about 7 or 8 months to write and record everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's formidable to be able to write your own music. I mean, I just think it's absolutely, I'm in awe of anyone that can write their own music, write to their own lyrics,
Me
to
too.
their songs. I think it's such an art.
Yeah. And I didn't even know that I could really do it. I never really saw myself as a writer. I would say, oh yeah, I sing, but if someone would be like, well, do you have original music? Do you write original music? I would say, no, no, no. But I sing. And so I was always afraid to tap into that part of my brain, not realizing that I actually did have a gift and it comes very easy to me. So I was just like, okay, well, thank you, God. I guess you got to use your gifts.
Wow. I mean, you got to give thanks because he's given you a great gift.
Thank you.
Great,
Yeah,
great gift.
for
So
sure.
continuing on your musical journey, this is your debut album.
Yes.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit. I mean, most artists, independent artists like yourself, normally would come out with an EP first. Why did you go straight for a full album?
So I think too, I had breast cancer. I got diagnosed in 2017, stage 3 breast cancer. And so when you kind of go through, like, you go through chemo, you go through all that, and you feel like you're so close to death, and you get a second chance at life, it's kind of like your brain kind of says, okay, tomorrow is not promised.
Definitely.
If you don't do it now, you might not get a chance to do it. So my thing was, if there's music and I want to get it out and I just want to put it out for my own sake, not even necessarily, I didn't even know who was going to hear it, but it was just something I had to get all this stuff out of me. I was like, well, why am I going with the rules of what it says you're supposed to do? I just want to share my music and share some uplifting messages. So I said, I'm just going to put out a full, I almost had 20 songs on there, but then I said, well, I'm not Drake, I'm not Chris Brown. So maybe for my first album, I won't do that. I'm going to pull some back. Let me reel it in a little bit. I don't know if anyone's going to sit there for 20 songs, but yeah. So I said, well, 14 with the reprise. I think I can do that, So yeah. Yeah.
How has your music been received in the US? How has it been received?
It's been received really well. I haven't really gotten a lot. I feel like it hasn't circulated the way it's been circulating in the UK, but the people that have heard it or I've talked to or bought it, they love it. Like I have a lot of friends from college that have just like I didn't even know you could, like, they knew I sang because I sung in college, but it's like whoa, I didn't know you could actually like write music and stuff, so especially because it's like this is my first album, and most people would have probably come out with a whole bunch of albums by now, by my age, right? So I think it just kind of shocked people, like, wait, what? You got an album out? Where'd this come from? So it's like, hey, just living life, just trying to enjoy life and do what makes you happy.
You're just so happy about it. It's just, I could just see you glowing. You're just glowing with it.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, you're just really glowing. You are just really happy and glowing with your album. On your album, you've got a track called Lazy Sundays.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask, why Lazy Sundays?
Well, so Sunday is, supposedly the Sabbath, what we believe, right? It's a day of rest, right? So it's like sometimes, people will say, it's like, oh, what'd you do today? What'd you do this weekend? Oh, didn't do much, had a lazy Sunday, where you just, laying around, kind of getting your mind ready for the week, the start of a new week. So you really don't want to do too much on Sunday. And so Lazy Sundays was kind of I heard the track and it just reminded me of driving up the coast out here, the beaches and just the warm weather, because I wrote it was in the summertime. And so I just started thinking about, because me and my husband, we like to, get in the car and drive sometimes, and so it just started me thinking, like, you know what, this has got a nice vibe to it. This would be just a lazy Sundays. We don't have to do a damn thing, or, you know what I mean? Like, we just drive it, just rolling and enjoying. Yeah, just enjoying the being with each other and doing absolutely nothing but walking on the beach.
Wow. Well, this is what I'm going to play is Lazy Sundays. Lady TLC in live conversation with the beautiful Marshella Muzic. Lazy Sundays, taken off that album entitled Moods. Check it out, people. It's available on all leading download sites. She's an independent artist. This is her debut album.
Cruising on our way to Malibu. The sun is high, the vibe is bright. Music blaring, ocean is in view. I can't believe this is my life. Can't waste a minute of this lovely day. No time for stress and only time for play. Don't worry about tomorrow till it comes. Lazy Sundays.
Feel free to give us an acapella if you would.
Walking on the hills of my hand in hand. The waters gently caressing my toes. Will leave a trail of footprints in the sand. Wouldn't wanna be with no one else.
Wow.
Real soon.
You definitely, well done. Oh, seriously, that deserves a round of applause.
Thank you. I'm like, oh, it's early in the morning. No,
It's not yet.
Sound the butt cover.
What a tune. So your album is being written by you through the different moods that you were going through during the difficult time we had here across the world.
Yes.
It wasn't just us, it was across the world.
Yes.
One of the questions that, I always ask people is, if you weren't singing, what would you be doing? Marshella, what would you be doing?
I would still be working at an advertising agency in finance and operations. That's what I was doing. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I worked at marketing and advertising for over 13 years, but I've always done the acting. So I do commercials as well. So I'd be just probably completely doing acting if I could. Um, um, or I'd still be at my office job because I like having a salary. I don't enjoy being a struggling artist, but it's just how it's how things go, you know?
But it definitely worked out for you, because if you hadn't left your job and, as you put it, as a struggling actor,
Yeah.
would you have done your album?
I would not, I would not have had the time to do my album because I was working, 9 to 5, sometimes longer, for years. And so the time that I did have would be for auditions for acting. And I've sang in bands like over the years and everything, but I've never had the time to sit down and focus and like say, I'm going to actually put a project out and record. And so that this whole pandemic, it really helped me to tap into that and think about, okay, what is it that I really want to do? Like, what are all my passions that, I'm not taking advantage of, or gifts that I'm not taking advantage of. And you really just had to have a sit down with God and just like say, lead me, tell me, what I'm supposed to do. And I feel like he just gave me the songs, and it was a very easy process. And it's like when things are easy and you're enjoying them, that's when you're like, I'm supposed to be doing this. Like I wake up, there's songs in my head, I go to sleep, songs in my head. And so it's like, okay, you're supposed to be doing this. So it was a confirmation, really confirmation about what I was supposed to be doing with my life.
I mean, that is so inspirational, especially the fact that you had gone through breast cancer, stage 3 breast cancer, and you'd lost your job, but you still, you still conquered, and you put forward, this whole 15-track album. I just think, I've got to salute you. It's one of the things I've got to definitely salute you. One of the other tracks on the album, Moods, was Summer Nights.
Yeah.
Because that kind of goes really nice with that lazy Sunday, because you think about the summer nights, you have that lazy Sunday, but what about those nights?
Yes.
Was you in a special place, or what was the vibe that you were feeling at the time?
I feel like, it was like you said, it was a summer night. We we're not too far from the water. So at nighttime, you can feel the breeze from the ocean, coming over, by our house. And so it kind of, came from that. My neighbor, he has lemon trees. And so I'm always looking out the window at his lemon trees. And so I was sitting in my she shed, as I call it, where I like do my writing and everything. It's the guest bedroom, the she shed. It's my creative space. And I was looking out the window, and I saw, I was looking at, it's like a possum or something running back and forth on our fence that we share, and he was getting lemons off the lemon tree. And so it popped in my head. I was like, lemon tree. And I was like, oh, dance with me under the lemon tree, beneath the lemon tree. At first I was like, beneath the apple tree. And I was like, oh, beneath the lemon tree. Oh, it's a lemon tree outside. And so it was just kind of one of those,
playing with words.
Like grooving, and the summer nights, like. And then of course Patti LaBelle is one of my inspirations with all my songs. If you listen to probably every one of my songs, I put in a piece of someone else's song that are influential in my life as far as music goes. So like the chorus is, I love you, honey, which is Patty's song. Love Patti LaBelle. So I was like, that sounds good right there. So I threw that in there, and I was just like, yeah, this is what I like to do: dance with you, or go drive beneath the starry sky on a summer night.
Wow.
So yeah, just the romantic. My husband makes me feel very romantic. He's like a sweet romantic guy. So like most of them come from just taking from our relationship, and then adding other stuff in there.
And that's what we're going to play, Summer Nights. I love the intro to this song.
Yeah.
Just that acoustic sound.
Yeah.
With me on summer nights beneath the lemon tree, just you and me, feeling free. On summer nights you can feel me breeze, hear the birds and the bees. I love you, I love you, honey, I love you, I do. Oh, yeah, summer night, it's you and I alone. We can know what the phone the real life. In the car we'll drive down the boulevard under the starry sky. What a beautiful night.
Fire, baby.
I need you. I need you. I need you right now. On these summer nights.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's such a beautiful song. It puts you into that mood, that
it's a body roll. It's body roll music, and I'm all about body roll music.
I need to behave myself. You see, you're a bad influence. But a beautiful song. Absolutely, just can you imagine the summer nights, just being there with your partner, it's got that influence to it.
Yes, thank you. My whole thing is driving music. I love driving music. I want to say, what can I put? I like to put something on in the car, and if I'm going on a long drive or whatever, something that I can listen from the front all the way to the end, and it's just like a groove. And so I kind of wanted the album to feel like that. Like I was like, yeah, I want to make driving music. So
driving crazy, are we?
Yeah. This LA traffic is horrible, so you got to have tunes to listen to when you're stuck in this traffic.
Wow. One of the other tracks, there's a beautiful gospel tune that you've put on there. Lord Forgive Me.
Yes.
Why? He's blessed you. He's brought you through some real dark, difficult days.
Yes.
Why, Lord Forgive Me?
So like one of that song, it wasn't even necessarily about me. I write a lot of songs, like just talking to friends, and it'll inspire something to write from their point of view. And so the Lord Forgive Me was more about like, not that, oh, I'm really done something wrong, like God, please forgive me. It's more of a Lord, forgive me for not really trusting you and knowing that all these bad times, all these bad things, like you can bring me through it. Going through all this stuff, my bills are due. I can't see all the plans that you have for me. Like, I'm surrounded by frenemies, not enemies, but people who pretend to be my friends, and that's like, as I get on my knees, it's a conversation. The song is a whole conversation between the person and God. And I'm like on my knees, you say to me, and it's like, and then God's talking to her, like, I'm all you need. Like, why are you trying to do everything on your own? So the song is about that, like, don't fret. Like, I'm here. I have plans for you. I know you can't see it, but I do have them, and I'm going to make it happen for you. So it's kind of that's what it's about, basically.
I'm going to play it right now.
All right.
Lady TLC in live conversation with the beautiful Marshella Muzic. as we talk about the album Moods, available for you to purchase to download from all leading download sites.
Every day I send a prayer up into the sky, waiting for an answer. Maybe the Lord will forgive me of my sins. Lord have mercy, Jesus Christ. Waiting for an answer. Maybe the Lord will forgive me of my sins. As I look over my life, it's filled with so much hurt and pain, and I don't know if I can find joy again. All my past mistakes keep haunting me as I try to find a smile. When my faith is tested, I can hear him say, don't let go. You should know I am never far. I am everywhere you are, you are. I love you. Believe me, don't wish upon a star. Faith in me will take you far. Every day I send a prayer up into the sky, waiting for an answer. Maybe the Lord will forgive me of my sins. Lord have mercy, Jesus Christ. Waiting for an answer. Maybe the Lord will forgive me of my sins.
What a tune. Definitely we can all relate to, you know, Lord forgive me. Because we kind of put it out there, but then we take it back. We don't actually let him show us or do it for us. So yes, definitely we have that tendency, you know, to pull back.
Why do we pray and worry? Either we believe he's going to do it, that's why we're praying about it, or we don't believe him.
We need to trust him.
We both. You don't trust him.
We need to trust him. Definitely need to trust him. One of the things that I was thinking about while the tune was playing is, why do you want to be an independent artist? Why don't you want to be signed by a record label, or why an independent artist?
Well, you know, like I feel like in my 20s, like I was in a girl group in my early 20s, and you know, moved to Atlanta and was trying to do the whole, you know, girl group get signed, you know, thing. And I just think over the course of my life, you know, it's become less about that being a celebrity or that, and just it's more about, I just love making music and love giving hope to people. I feel like God is using me as a vessel to spread his message. And so my whole life is about giving God glory by using my gifts. So my thing has not been to like seek out a record label. I feel like I have more control about what I want to look like, what I want to put out. Like, you have a record label, then they kind of choose what goes on your album and all that. Like I was able to sit there and say, oh, I want to do 14 songs. I want 20 songs. Oh, and I want it to be these songs. So I just feel like you have more control over everything, over your craft, like over your babies, like, you know. And you just hear all these horror stories about the music industry, and, you know, people not getting their masters, and, you know, their masters back. And it's like, I want to own all my music. I want to, you know, be able to do what I want to with it. So that's kind of like where I'm at. I've really enjoyed this whole process with just me and my husband and, you know, family, you know, they're being my listening ears. That's like, I have my own personal A&R people
within your own network.
Yeah. So it's, I just really enjoyed the freedom. It's about freedom for me, and being able to express what I want to express. I kind of see the way the world is now, and the gratuitousness, just a lot of things that I'm not really about, that I feel like is more so promoted what the record industry wants. And, you know, that's not really me. So I think independent is probably the best for me anyway.
So you're using all the downloadable platforms. Are you looking to put your music out on your own website, promote?
Yeah, so it is on my website. You can actually download the album or buy CDs. from my website. As
Tell
well.
everyone the
It's
website.
MarshellaMuzic.com. So
Easy.
yeah, so easy. And you can read about me. You can see anything upcoming I have, or read any articles. You can also check out my acting. I have my acting stuff on there as well. Reels, acting reels. You can see that. You can also, I have merchandise. You can buy shirts, sweatshirts, all kinds of everything. It's like a one-stop shop at MarshellaMuzic.com. And it has all the links to all of my social media on there as well.
Brilliant. And you are very active, guys. I have to profess, she's very active on her social media. You click her, she's there.
It's hard. It's so hard to keep up. I'm still trying to figure out TikTok. I'm still trying to figure out Twitter. So I do what I can.
You'll get there. I promise. So obviously, you've got an advertising background, so you're able to promote your own stuff as an independent artist. So you know how to put yourself forward and where to position yourself. Right. But one of the other things that kind of struck me with independent artists is, are you getting the recognition from promoters? Are you getting shows? Have you been able to perform since you've released the album?
I have not. I haven't been contacted. I've heard people have said to me like, "Oh, we got to get you, on a gig, or we got to," but no. So that's now there are, we talk about the record labels. There are things that they can do that you can't. Well, I'm not going to say you can't. I never say I can't. That are more a little more difficult for you to do on your own. They can walk you into mainstream radio as well and get you played. There's things that they can do that you can't do on your own. But just how my mind works, I just feel like what's for me is for me, and God will open the correct doors when it's time. When it's time, because like I put Lazy Sundays out in May, and then I put Skate out as a single in June, and I didn't even start getting contacted by people until I put the whole album out in September. So I wasn't even sure that people were really hearing the first two singles. So it's just I feel like it's all in God's timing, and he'll send the correct people to help me along, as he's done already so far. Like my good friend D, Key Jam.
Yeah, Key Jam. We can't forget Key Jam, because it's to him we made a link.
Exactly.
We're kind of connected. So
yes, and also, shout out to him.
About breaking artists as well.
Yes,
Taxman, definitely. So I want to big up those two gentlemen, always in my corner supporting. And we've got so many DJs over here that play your music, regularly. One of them being D-Mac. Who's a big supporter of yours.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I sure appreciate it. So nice.
Yeah, I think the UK DJ scene here, radio stations, we gravitate to the American artists in the R&B sector, because you give us so much of a variety.
Yes.
Not saying our UK artists don't, but it's just that you kind of you're regular, you're consistent. Carmichael, Music Lover.
Oh yeah, that's my friend too. We're gonna have a song we're doing together.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's a friend of mine as well. He was here earlier on this year. I got to interview him, meet him in person. So it was absolutely really
great.
Really
he actually, there's so many things people don't know about him. He's a really good graphic artist. He actually put my CDs together that I have. He put it all together, and they look great. And so he's got all these other talents. So he's become part of me and my husband's family, because we're both in California,
and that's what's out there. He said,
but that's what's been cool, is that I didn't know about him before, and that's what's been cool about being meeting DJs like you and all that, is that I'm learning so much about other independent artists, and I'm super fans. You had the Kim Tavar on, and I love her. And then there's a lady named Teray Hayward. Yeah, well, her, but then there's a Teray, her name's Teray or something. Teray, I forget her name, but she's got a song called In Time that's out right now. So there's like all these new artists that I never knew about, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a fan. So yeah, it's been awesome.
I mean, I've got to say, you know, I've had the pleasure of talking to Miss Chris, another independent artist, you know, Rajane, from what we knew, Rajane from the 90s.
Yes.
She's hasn't come back, you know, this year. She's dropped a single. So, you know, it's nice to see the music coming, you know, and a lot of the artists are still keeping some of that 90s vibe in their music. So you still get that 90s, because for me, the 90s was the best decade.
I loved it.
R&B music, you know.
I love it so much, and you're so right. But I feel like you, the UK, I feel like you guys just have a really good ear. Is what I've noticed. And I was like, you guys know real music. Like you know, if an art, if they're playing you, if you're being played on, you know, one of your stations, it's like, you know, you must be pretty good. That's how I feel anyway. Because every time I hear anyone's show, I'm just like, oh, I like that. I like that. Oh my God, like this show is hot, you know. It's like, y'all know how to pick it, you know. Y'all know how to pick the good jams for sure.
Right. There's also on your album, you've got Moving On.
Yes.
And I really want to play that, because that shows a different side to you, that a fun side. You know, so we've got the love, the care, you know, but this is like the fun side of you.
Yeah.
I mean, what inspired that track?
Moving on is more about is another kind of uplifting song for me. Speaking to people going through rough times and who don't see a way out. And it's kind of like a pick me up, kind of saying, you know what? Like, I know you're in the storm right now, but there's always a rainbow at the end of the storm. So just hold on and keep moving. Like, don't just sit there in your, you know, wallowing in your circumstance and, you know, how things look. You got to see the other side and keep moving until you get over that hump. So that's what Moving On is about.
And we're going to play that right now. Marshella Muzic in live conversation with Lady TLC. We're definitely moving on.
There comes a time within your life, looks good and bad, and days are filled with struggles. But don't let it get you down. You're searching for the guiding light to rid you of the darkness and your troubles. And you can't give up the fight. Live your life in peace with no regrets. Just one day at a time. Keep the faith and you'll be fine. Keep striving to be your very best. Those mountains you will climb. All the world will see you shine. That's why you've got to keep on moving on. Keep on moving, moving on. You've got to keep on moving on. Keep on moving, moving on. I know the way.
Taking another track off that album entitled Moods.
It was back in the day, my mind was blown away as a small child. And every Saturday we would go and roller skate until midnight. In pom-poms, fuzzy and light, on my skates so pearly white. How I love them. We would dip, dance, and glide, lift our hands up to the sky. What a feeling! I skate.
It's one of them groovy tunes, isn't it?
I skate. How I wish it was back in the days when we used to skate. There was this handsome boy. When I saw him, I felt joy. He was my first love. He would put one hand in mine and the other near my spine as we skated. He held me so close as we skated and we coasted, felt like magic. He would kiss me on the cheek and I would see him every week. I never forgot him. I skate till the air blowing across my face.
I'm just reminding myself of roller skating.
Yes.
Going roller skating. Definitely.
When we used to skate.
That was another track off of your album entitled Skate.
Yes.
Funky. It kind of that old disco kind of feel. As I said, it was kind of reminding me of roller skating days.
Exactly. And that's what it's about. It's like all about me growing up and going to roller skate. Every Saturday we would go and we would skate till midnight. So it's like my childhood Marshella, and just remembering that feeling and watching my parents skate like couples, like doing all the little twists.
The moves and the hands and the heel. Yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah, that was cool. That's I wanted that kind of nostalgic vibe with that one.
The whole album as a whole has different elements for everybody.
Yes.
There's something on the album for everyone.
Thank you.
Were you mentored? Have you got a mentor that's mentoring you through your journey through the music industry?
We talked about Dee earlier and Tax. They've both been two people that have helped me a lot, as well as Carmichael Music Lover. He's been doing it forever. So like those three gentlemen have really like just helped me navigate the business and just giving me pointers on and different things like that. So yeah, that shout out to them. Shout out to God for placing decent, good people in your life that really like see your talent and want to help you elevate. So they've been very like great, educators for me, because it is my first rodeo. So there's like just little things that I'm trying to figure out. I mean, little things. They're just like, wait, what does this mean? What? what chart is this? What is that?
Because you've made it in a few UK charts. You have made it into a few of the UK charts.
Yeah, it's just like
rotation, the UK rotation.
Yeah, trying to understand all that stuff, So yeah, they've been really helpful. And then of course my family and my friend Jono, who's rapping on Lord Forgive Me. He's been in music forever. Like he was a rapper back in the 80s. So he still raps to this day. So yeah, he's helped me pick out my tracks, and as well as my husband. So they're kind of like my two listening people. When I come out the she shed, I let them listen and say, what you think about this? And they're like, oh yeah, that's a hit, So they're kind of like my listening ears, John Ollie Music and my husband Lance. So yeah, I guess I got
you've got it. You've got a good rounded circle.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Circle. Sure. So if I was to say to you, what advice would you give to a new artist entering into this business? What piece of advice would you give them?
I would say always trust your gut. Like if you feel like something isn't right, or if you feel like something is not for you, have the confidence and know that, you can make decisions on your own and not just go along with what anyone tells you, because people everyone does not have your best interest at heart. So I think it's just very important to know who you are as a person and be grounded in that before you enter this type of industry. And I'm older, so it probably would have been very different if I had done this in my 20s. I would have had to do a lot of trying to figure it out, figuring out who I am and what my likes are and dislikes. So I feel like where I'm at now in my life, it's just music. It's all about the craft, and it's all about, and to me, it doesn't matter if I blow up or whatever, I'm just happy. I'm happy that it was so therapeutic for me to write, so I'm just happy that I got it out. That's all. I wasn't expecting anything, just, wanting to get this all out, all of this I had built up. And I was happy with just that, listening to it myself and saying, yes, I did it. Thank you, God, so everything else has just been a bonus for me. The fact that other people are loving it as much as I enjoyed making it.
Well, it's been a phenomenal afternoon having this conversation with you today. Yes. I mean, can you believe we've been talking for nearly an hour?
No, I can't. I've probably been running my mouth, blah, 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 rambling.
No, you haven't. It's been so interesting listening to you and hearing your journey for an independent artist. You've done a lot in the space of 2 years. You've gone through a lot. You've come out the other side. You've taken the negative, as some people might have seen it as, but you've turned it into a positive.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I salute you. Can you remind the listeners where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me at marshellamuzic.com. That's marshella.muzic.com. And you can get the digital album there. You can buy individual tracks. You can buy CDs. You can also access my Spotify, iTunes, everything else.
Excellent. So, I mean, what's next for Marshella?
More music. I'm going into the studio on Monday to record some more. I just keep writing. I mean, I already have enough for a second album already that I've recorded. So I just I just got to get it out of me. So I'm just writing and recording and enjoying life. We're so fortunate to still be here. So many people, didn't make it. So I'm just blessed and want to continue doing God's work.
He's given you an instrument. Keep using it.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it'd be so good to see you here in the UK.
Oh, I would love it. Anybody out there, hey, bring me over.
So good to see you come to the UK and just shine that music across us here. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there listening, I'm sure.
Yes.
And it doesn't fall on deaf ears. But I'm going to take us out with Happy Days because it's such a beautiful song. Okay. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for giving up your time today to be in conversation with me. All right. And
thank you.
What can I say? God bless. Have a wonderful Christmas.
Yes.
Okay? You enjoy. All right. So Merry Christmas to you and to the family and all the best for 2022. Keep rising. Keep shining.
Yes. You too. Thank you so much.
Lady TLC, my special guest today was the beautiful Marshella Muzic, taking you out with Happy Days, taken off of her album entitled Moods, M-O-O-D-Z. Check out her website. You can purchase, download.
My happy days are here again, now that you're around. My days are so much brighter. I have a huge smile on my face.
Fire, baby.
To be around. In your love, I have no doubts. My life has been made new. It's all because of you. No more cloudy days, just lovely skies of blue. Ooh, my life has been made new. It's all because of you. No more cloudy days, just lovely skies of blue. Ooh, I never thought I'd find true love or would ever settle down. but you came and changed my mind. Can't remember what my life was like. Now I sleep so soft and sound. I was lost, but now I'm found. Life has been made new. It's all because of you. No more cloudy days, just lovely skies of blue. Life has been made new. It's all because of you. No more cloudy days, just lovely skies of blue. Ooh. Boy, you love me, and you show me on you I can rely. No more stressing, only blessings. You changed me deep inside.